The Armed is an underground, I guess you could call them, rock, hardcore, post-hardcore metal band. They're pretty heavy as bands go in this field. Heard about them a few years ago, back in like 2015 I think it was. Haven't heard that album in a long time actually. It's the Untitled one. You might recognize the cover. It's like the Aladdin Insane, Ziggy Stardust of post-hardcore metal music, really. We'll have to go back to that one at some point though, because ULTRAPOP is the latest album from this band, and it's pretty damn insane. Aladdin Insane, in fact. Aladdin. Been really intrigued by this one because I've heard it quite a few times up until this point, and the most recent listen of this album was really where things started to fall into place in a really unique way. I do think the way they approach music is quite staggering, honestly. Like, their approach to just balls to the wall noise, I think, is truly impressive. And it's funny because the opening track on this album doesn't really set the tone up very well. Not that it sets it up badly or anything like that, but the opening track is very atmospheric. It's shoegazy even. It really makes you think this album's going to be taking you on some kind of psychedelic weird journey in some kind of weird bizarre way, and then immediately after that All Future kicks in and you're just in for a blast, because right from there it is killer heavy tunes after another, one after the other. This one is incredibly melodic, really catchy, honestly. It manages to combine those worlds of, you know, a Converge and then, you know, bringing in that Idols kind of chorus. And I've not, you know, been the biggest fan of Idols recently, but I do feel like they would do a chorus like this. Then you've got tracks that just take it one step further. Masunaga Vapors has that chaotic ending. What in the fuck is going on? Those math kind of inspired guitars. I've always found math rock a weird genre. It's kind of like IDM. They probably need new names, but I think they have become well established in their own lanes at this point. Amongst music nerds, your average person's never gonna have heard of math rock, but they obviously have their place, but they just have weird names. It's just making music sound like it's a calculation or some kind of like entity that's above human understanding, like intelligent dance music, mathematical rock. But because they're easy terms to point to if you know what I'm talking about, it makes this make sense, what I'm saying here at least. But this track is dizzying as hell. It just really compresses everything and just pummels your ears in a way that probably could give you tinnitus, but you know, you just gotta be careful. Don't make yourself get tinnitus over this song, because you probably will if you aren't careful. Enjoy the muffled vocal approach to an iteration too. This is a really odd track in the way that the vocals are just so buried and weirdly mixed, but it works a lot. And you know what it reminds me of that I really like the band, well, the solo artist actually, I think it is just one man, but Avanade. If you never listened to Avanade, really go listen to It's a Whimsical Afterlife by Avanade, and the most recent album by Avanade too from last year. Look, if you're enjoying this track or this album, you're gonna love that as well. You've got the female vocals that come in occasionally. I will say the success rate is a bit mixed. I do think Big Shell is a pretty cool track. It's got that kind of like Melt Banana-ish vibe to it. Melt Banana are a really cool J-rock band, by the way. Again, if you've never heard of those and you like this track, go listen to them because they're really cool. The vocals hit really like screeching, bizarre levels. They really fucking pierce your ears. And then towards the end of the track, the drums syncopate with the vocals, like the yells hit at the same time as the drums. Oh my god, it's weird. I think this could easily put someone off. It nearly borders on putting me off actually, but it's a mad moment. It's manic as hell. It gets even more insane on the track Where the Man Knows What though. The nightmarish, ghoulish hellishness to this one. What in the hell is going on? it's ear bleeding towards the end, like really, really crazy. And again, my fear of tinnitus comes creeping up on me once again, probably due to the fact that recently, the most recent film I watched was Sound of Metal. So yeah, tracks like this just scare the fuck out of me. This is scarier than any horror film, listening to a track like this, because the fear of what it could do to my ears is greater than anything I would ever see from like Freddy Krueger. Like, that guy's just not scary, man. Look, hit me in the comments and tell me otherwise, but Freddy Krueger, he's not scary. But this song is fucking scary. There's huge amounts of power to tracks like Faith and Medication. Really feel like there's an anxiety-induced feeling that comes through on this one, probably due to the title and some of the lyrics too. It really feels like the singer is just losing hope in everything and is just blaring out just pain, really, pain. It's kind of like the most recent Daughters album. I think it gives off a similar feel to that. The album slips off a little bit when she gets to real folk blues. Really not sure on the vocals on this one. They get really annoying. I just don't think it's for me. Once again, the female vocals make an appearance. I don't know, I think they just border on being irritating, actually, and the whole song just feels so intense, to the point where I think I've gotten a little jaded by the fact that every track is so intense, and then this point in the album, you're just hitting vocals that just are really not hitting the spot. And I think I'm just not really here for this one. Bad selection does trim away some of that intensity though. We do get that heavy load taking off your shoulders a little bit, and you get a much tamer track, which isn't a bad thing. I actually think some of the tamer, more melodic focused tracks end up being some of my favorites anyway, like All Futures, for example. But then by the time you then hit the closing track, and it just feels like a bit of an underwhelming end. Not sure what happened here, but there's just something about the instrumental that isn't quite clicking with me. But it is a shame, because I think this album has huge potential to just be fantastic, but there's a few slip-ups in places, and you know, right at the end too, with these two tracks coming close together, just not really the ending I wanted. But that being said though, it's more of a personal thing, and I could imagine there being a future where I actually go back to this album and get more adjusted to some of those vocals that I was talking about that don't quite click with me. We shall see, but at this point I think it's a really, really killer album. I think a 7 out of 10 is absolutely deserving. The score is pointless in this sense though, because obviously I've said so much good about this album, and if you haven't heard it already and you've liked everything I've said and all the other artists I've made references to as well, like, you're gonna love this. You're just gonna love it. So yeah, really, really good stuff, and I think The Armed are doing some really impressive things at the moment, and I think you should be checking it out if you haven't already. So if you like this style of music, go listen to it. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching this review as well. Subscribe if you haven't already, and goodbye. That's everything. Goodbye.